Hi, I'm Jodie Hammond. I'm an education consultant from McGraw Hill, and I'd like to give you a quick overview of the Spelling Mastery programme. Spelling Mastery is a 6-level spelling programme which uses direct instruction. It is an evidence-based, research-validated spelling series designed for students in years 1 to 6. Spelling Mastery was authored by Zig Engelman and Associates, and it was published by McGraw Hill Education. Like all direct instruction programs, Spelling Mastery is designed, delivered and documented to ensure students learn to mastery. It's designed so the teacher can teach successfully and the student can learn effectively in the shortest amount of time. If you're wondering who you can use Spelling Mastery with, the answer is that you can use it with all your students, those who are working at age-related expectations, those who are advanced spellers, those for whom English is an additional language, SEN students, at-risk students with poor spelling skills. What's important is that it can be taught to whole classes or to small homogeneous groups. If you group the students by ability rather than age, using the placement test to determine an appropriate starting level for each student, then your groups will work brilliantly. This placement test is available free of charge to anyone who's interested. So how is Spelling Mastery different than other spelling programs you might have used? Well, unlike traditional methods like look, cover, write, check, which may require a heavy load on memory, Spelling Mastery encourages students to think their way through learning how to spell. Lessons are delivered individually or to a group depending on your school's needs, but spelling is taught in tracks, and these tracks are entwined and interlinked for many weeks to provide adequate scaffolding for the learning of spelling patterns. So within the programme there are 3 approaches to spelling which are combined: the phonemic approach, the whole word approach and the morphographic approaches. The phonemic and whole word approaches are taught in levels A and B, and the morphographic approach is introduced in level C, where all 3 methods are entwined and carry on being used until level F. So the ideal scenario is that Spelling Mastery is taught daily, 5 times a week, with each lesson taking about 20 minutes to complete. Level A consists of 60 lessons and so normally is picked up from the spring term of year 1. Levels B to F are 120 lessons each, so they'll take you the best part of your school year. Lots of schools find that Spelling Mastery is a brilliant start to the literacy hour for the first 20 minutes of that, or for 20 minutes before break time. Just as long as you get in a regular schedule, this is a great way of teaching young people to spell. So each level of Spelling Mastery has a presentation book for the teacher, which contains the script, and a print workbook for each student. We also recommend getting a series guide, 1 per school, which is just a great resource and provides an overview of the whole programme, including word lists and frequently asked questions. If you choose, you can also take out a digital subscription. These are available for teachers and students. The teacher licence includes the presentation book in digital form, and there are also other resources like practice word lists and spelling certificates. The teacher presentation books are not printable or downloadable. If you opt into the digital component for the students, it doesn't replace the print workbook but supplements what's taught in class. There are spelling games on there and students receive a login and they can access the games in class or do them as homework. Here's one example of the kind of spelling games that are on the student licence. All direct instruction programs, including Spelling Mastery, require students to do a placement test. The test will ensure that students are placed at the right ability level, not necessarily at their chronological age level. Students who are placed this way can progress through the levels at a quick pace and with greater confidence. The placement tests are on our website, or you can request one from me. You can administer them to a group or to an individual. And please note that the placement test only needs to be administered to students who are newly entering the programme. You don't have to run these every year. So from the placement test results, the appropriate ability groups are formed and materials can be purchased accordingly. In a whole school setting, spelling mastery works best when each year group does spelling mastery in the same time slot. Each teacher can be assigned a level and a group of students who've placed into that level to work with. All DI teacher scripts follow conventions. The script keeps your language clear and consistent and is especially useful in schools with high teacher turnover or if you have part-time staff. The daily lessons can all be delivered using the same consistent language. It also saves precious planning time because lessons are meticulously sequenced and scaffolded. The only preparation needed with spelling mastery is just to read the lesson beforehand and maybe have a little practice in front of the mirror until the style of delivery becomes more natural. Like you can see on the screen, the blue words are what the teacher says. The anticipated response from the students is in italics. The parts in brackets are what the teacher does. For instance, when they're required to signal, you can see that in brackets. And a tick mark on the page is a prompt for the teacher to look around the class and check that everybody is in the right place, looking at the right page. Words in bold are designed to be emphasised. And for the rest of the lesson, teachers are just encouraged to keep to the script as much as possible and to deliver this in a fast-paced, punchy, fun way. Through the effective use of signals, the teacher can elicit a unison response from the class and can control the think time that each response may need. In spelling mastery, the main types of signal used are the hand drop, the point touch, or an audible signal like tapping the pen or a clap. The teacher uses the hand drop signal during most of the lesson when students are looking at and responding to the teacher. The point touch can be used when you're looking at words on the board and testing and practicing those in sequence. And you'll need an audible signal like a pen tap or a clap when students are required to be writing in their workbooks, so they're not looking at you. You can ask your consultant for more information about this, or you might like to practice it during an in-depth spelling mastery training session. Similar to a choir, all students must respond when instructed to by the teacher. This is a unique feature of direct instruction that facilitates equitable instruction for all students, not just the enthusiastic few who volunteer each time a question is asked. It means that often in a DI lesson, a student might give as many as 100 responses in class time rather than the 1 or 2 they might give in an ordinary lesson. So there's lots of unison responses, which enables the teacher to hear incorrect responses much better than if the responses are scattered or disjointed. Of course, sometimes you'll get incorrect responses, and this provides valuable feedback for the teacher. It's important that anytime there's an incorrect response, the teacher responds immediately, even mid-sentence, and direct the student's attention to the word, provide the correct answer, and do so in a positive manner. Students aren't singled out, nobody's ever criticised, but it's just really important that the whole group hears the correct word before you move on. The general paradigm for corrections is model, test, lead, delayed test. Like on the screen, you first model the word by telling the students the correct word. You test them by asking them to repeat it to you. The strategy part of the correction paradigm will depend on how the teacher addresses the difficult word, and the delayed test ensures the mistake isn't repeated again. You can get detailed instructions on corrections in the Spelling Mastery series guide. Individual turns are also an important part of the lesson, but students will only ever be asked to respond individually when you believe that the class has mastered the word. So nobody's ever put on the spot and made to feel silly. You're only asking them to repeat something that you think they've already mastered. When conducting a large class to respond in unison, it can be difficult to ensure everyone is participating. So individual turns give teachers the opportunity to check all students are following along, especially lower performers or those who might seem distracted that day. So once a teacher has asked the question of the whole group, they then call on individual students to give an answer. This way, everyone is thinking of the answer, but only one person responds. The script will lead you through all of this. The pace or rhythm of each lesson will usually be directed by the pace and ability of the class. However, the teacher must watch out for and discourage drony or sing-song responses from students. Such a response usually indicates students aren't confident in their own responses and are waiting to be guided by the more confident spellers around them. So our aim is to get strong, correct responses from each student in the class, even though they're answering as a group. So try to keep the pace brisk and quick so students are engaged and attentive during the entirety of the lesson. Reading the lesson beforehand will help with delivering at the right pace. Lesson delivery shouldn't be rushed to finish within the allocated time. Teachers are encouraged to bring their personalities and creativity to the script, just like an actor brings that to a movie script. So besides the initial placement test, regular testing and assessment are part of each spelling mastery level. These tests are worked into lessons in the form of contests, proofreading exercises, writing games, challenges and reviews. In levels A and B, weekly tests are optional but recommended, and these are on page 11 of the series guide. In levels C, D, E and F, every fifth lesson is a mastery test, and the entire lesson is a test lesson. Test scores are then recorded at the back of each student workbook, and the testing procedures can all be found in the series guide. Transition from one level of spelling mastery to the next is automatic, but a criterion test can be used to check for next level suitability, especially if some students may be underperforming on weekly tests. The scores required for this test is 100%, and some spelling rules and words may need to be retaught to bring students up to mastery so that they're ready to move on to the next level. Spelling mastery is taught with great rigour in classrooms, and generally there are no spelling lists sent home for homework. Parent supervision at home might lead students to learn the words by heart rather than them knowing and understanding the spelling rules that determine how a word is spelled. However, as the level of difficulty increases with some spellings, some schools like to send words home for extra practice, especially in levels D, E and F. The strategies are taught in class, but added practice can support these efforts at home. With all DI programmes, it's a good idea for staff to get trained. Training and coaching helps teachers deliver lessons with greater fidelity and greater success. The training also helps avoid any bad habits that tend to form in the classroom. For example, a teacher might not place enough importance on a group response, or if teachers forget to or fail to correct a mistake as soon as one is heard, this is a good thing for training to correct. To teach well right from the start, in-depth teacher training is available through independent trainers, and I can put you in touch with these. Spelling mastery is well supported with research that supports both the methodology and the actual programme. Please contact your consultant or visit the nifty website to know more about it. Teachers should feel assured that spelling mastery has been put together by experts using decades of research and field testing. The research that spelling should be taught explicitly is very clear. All DI programmes are taught explicitly, with the added advantage of expert design scripting, the publisher's original content, and correction procedures that are built into the programme. For a programme to be successful, the explicit methodology alone is not enough. Direct instruction is engineered content delivered in an explicit way. These are a list of resources that will help towards a successful implementation of spelling mastery at your school. Please reach out to your consultant for a copy of these. The fidelity checklist will help you prepare for the programme before, during and after delivering lessons. The goodbye list helps provide extra practice to learn those difficult words to mastery. There's a letter to parents explaining the methods of spelling that their children will be learning in class. The teacher-student game is an excellent way to help keep tasks in check. And please ask your consultant for a template of the order form for the workbook top-ups, and any small orders through the year. Lastly, the Sound Pronunciation Guide helps Spelling Mastery Level A teachers become familiar with the sounds that are taught at this level. Please ask your consultant to send it on to you. If you'd like to learn more about direct instruction and how it can be used in other subjects like English, reading and maths, please take a look at the Nifty website or the US or UK McGraw Hill websites, or get in touch with me. We've also got a really useful case study from a UK school who've been using Spelling Mastery for years, and I can send this on to you. Thank you for your attention, and I wish you a very successful implementation of Spelling Mastery.